And voila. Okay, welcome back, guys. We want to learn something else. Right now, we want to do our second topic, and the second topic that we want to do is called logical operators. Without wasting time, I'll go ahead and click a new folder. I'll call it number 3, logic operators. I'll click enter. And this is number 3. By the way, it should be inside JavaScript here. Okay, so I'll put it inside here. Sorry for that. Somebody is on the lobby, and I will enter and I'll create a new file. I'll call it logic operators.js. Now we want to learn logic operators, and with logic operators, what we do is you want to ask yourself, what are logic operators? Logic operators are basically something that actually is checking the logic behind. For example, I'll give you an example of a logic operator. You know, like when you say or, okay, you can either eat fufu or bushmeat. For example, that's a logic operator. Or you can say and, okay? You can also eat fufu and bushmeat together, okay? So whether you use or you use and, or for example, not, okay? Or when, for example, you saw me using the 2 equal signs or the 3 equal signs, those were the logic operators or what I'm talking about. Now, here are the logic operators that we have, okay? I'll say examples of logical operators. Here are the examples of logical operators. Let me click plus so that you can see whatever I'm trying to do here. Okay. Number 1, we have or. Everybody knows what this or does, okay? Or if one is true, it will execute. If it only fails when both are false. This, okay? It only fails when both are true. I'll tell you what it means by that, okay? So it always executes to true if one is true. Okay, if one of it is true, it will always be true. For example, you can either eat fufu or bushmeat. It means if you eat fufu, it is true. And if you eat bushmeat, it is true. Okay? But when you say you cannot eat fufu nor you cannot eat bushmeat, it means both of them are false, then it will never, it has to execute to true if one of it is true. And that's what it means by or this stuff. Okay, so I'll say number 2, for example, if we have and, and this operator always, this is how it looks. This is the by the way, or operator is always like this, the 2 straight lines like this. Okay, the sign is always 2 straight lines like that. Okay, so that's how it looks like. We will see examples. And this is how it looks like. And is like this. It only executes, okay? It only executes when both are true. So it only executes when both are true. So when both are true, it will execute to true. Else, if one is false, okay, it will always be false. I'll give you an example of this. Okay, for example, you should be a student and under 17 years old for you to do what? For you to be accepted into this program. Means you can be, if you are a student and you are above 18, you'll not be accepted. So end operator should only execute that both sides are true. And if one side is false, it will also actually be false. And this is the problem with end. Okay, so you are putting a condition of both the 2 sides should execute to true. If one is false, it will be false. For example, if this person is not a student but they are 17 years old, they'll be told you cannot join this program because you are not a student. Okay, and if they're a student and not 17 years old and below, they'll be told you are overaged for this program. This is for underage from 17 to 14 years old, maybe. You see? So this is how it does. And then we have another condition that is called not. With not condition, okay, not condition, the operator of this is like this. When you do shift 1, okay, you put that exclamation mark. This one means not. This one returns the opposite value always. This one returns the opposite value. Returns opposite value. Now, if this returns an opposite value, it means if I say Nora is not a man, it means Nora is what? A woman. And if I say Nora is not a woman, it means Nora is a man. Okay? It always returns to the opposite side of it. If you say not female, it means this one is equal to what? Is equal to me? Is equal to male. It always returns the opposite side of that, the opposite value of it. Now the other one is called equality. Now with equality, this is what happens. With equality, when you have an equality, it's either 2 equal signs or 3 equal signs. And we have already used an equality without you understanding that we were using equality. Basically, when we said if name is equal to Faith, we were actually comparing the name and make sure that this name was equal to Faith. This is different from let name is equal to Faith. This one is called assigning. This is called assigning a value. Okay? Assignment. This is called an assignment. But this, what we did over here, when you say if name is equal to this, when you do this, I'll put it like that, and I'll say this is what is called equality. I think we have done equality here, so don't get confused. Here you are assigning a value. You are just saying let name is equal to Faith, but here you are comparing two values to make sure that they are equal. So you can either use 2 equal signs or 3 equal signs, and I'll use the same example here. If we say this logical operators here, okay. Now let's go ahead and do some examples. One example is I'll come here and I'll say console log. I will say not true. What if I say console.log not true? What do you want it to say? It will say false, because the Boolean values are always true. It is either true or false. True or false. In the world, it is either you are true or you're either saying the truth or you're either lying. So console.log not true. This will actually print what? False. Look, prints false over here, and that's how it looks like. Next, let's do this. We want to actually do something called comparison. We want to do this end here. We will write some code and say let hour is equal to 12. Now I'll say let minute, okay, let minute is equal to 32. I'll come here and say if into brackets hour is equal to 12. If hour is equal to 12, I'll put 2 equal signs or 3 equal signs, by the way, because I'm using this equality. So I will not repeat the equality thing, because equality is usually used to compare, okay, if these things are equal. So if hour equal to 12, and I'll say end, okay, when you do shift 7, you are writing end twice, and minute is equal to 30, okay, I will say alert. All right, I will say alert. Into brackets, I'll say time. Okay, let me say time is 12:30. Okay, now you can see here I can put an else statement. I can say else. Okay, let me say else into brackets, and I'll say alert. Into brackets, I'll say, okay, wrong time. Okay, wrong time input. Okay, we want to check this thing here, and I told you for you to run this, you'll have to use, if you use something called alert or prompt or anything, you have to use the console itself like that. Let's come here and put the console. Let's enter. See, it's saying wrong time. Why? Because end is checking. It has to check both sides that they should be true. Hour is equal to 12, true. Minute is equal to 32, but here you're saying minute is equal to 30, wrong. And we said here on the notes, end it only executes when both sides are true. So if one is false, it will execute the false part. So when we put an if statement here and we say alert this time is equal to 12:30, okay, it will check is hour equal to 2 and minute is equal to this. Is this condition true? If this condition is false, it will not be able to to run this, else it will run the condition that is wrong, is actually failing. Now I will check the or part. The same part, we will actually write it again. Okay, we will come here down and say, okay, if our is equal to 2 or, okay, we'll put an or condition. So do shift and then do that. Okay, the two straight lines. Now say if our is equal to 12 is equal to 30, alert this time is equal to wrong. Okay, so do we need an else statement here? No, because at the end of the day, this one will only fail. Okay, will only fail if one part, if both parts are false. For example, right now, if I put 10 here, both sides are false. Our is equal to 10? No. Our is equal to 12. Is minute equal to 30? No. Minute is equal to 32. So this one will not run, and it will run alert. Let me come here and show you what I mean. Come here and then clear, and I'll put here. But there I have to copy the whole code. So it means from here, let me put like that, and I'll say Control V. Although I will remove it later on, and I'll come here and say Control V like that. When I enter, it says wrong input. Are you seeing that? Saying wrong input. I'll put it again and then I'll write it over here and I'll put this 12. See, if hour is equal to 12 or minute is equal to 30, hour it is true, but minute is false. Let's run it. Okay, time is 12:30. You see, time is 12:30. Why did it run? Because one side is true. Okay, even though one side is true, the other side is false. It will actually run. And that's the differences between that part as I was telling you. So if one part is true, it will actually run. If both parts are false, then that condition will actually fall. That's when it will actually fail. And that's all for this part of equality and or. You have seen or and not. I've shown you not, and I've shown you equality. You have actually compared this little code here. Now, without wasting time, let's go ahead and do the last class. And this is what on the last class what we want to do. And from there, it's when we'll have a QA section where we'll actually repeat without recording everything. We want to do math operations. So leave the class right now and let me see you on the third class.